Hi there and welcome to another episode of the Business Automation Show. My name is Uwe. I'm the founder of InvoiceBerry, a simple online invoicing tool for solopreneurs, freelancers, and small business owners. Today we're looking at how to connect InvoiceBerry and Harbour. So whenever you send out a document to be signed with the help of Harbour, that you then can automatically send out a follow-up invoice to your customer. So the use cases could be that maybe you just want to have a legally binding contract ready whenever you onboard a new client, or maybe you are a consultant, a coach, you run a cleaning company and you have people on retainers on monthly invoices, so you can set up those recurring invoices. Your customers can get invoiced on a monthly basis, but you want to have this document. This might be a contract, or this might be some unique quote that you want to get signed, so you want that ready. Let's dive right into it. I'm here in my Harbour account and I already created one document and I signed it, so we have some test data that Zapier can use. So let's go to Zapier, and you want to connect Harbour to InvoiceBerry. As the trigger, you want to select new agreement completed. So I've just done that before this video. And as the action, it really depends. Do you just want to set up the client in InvoiceBerry, or do you want to already create an invoice for that client? Or do you even want to create a recurring invoice? So that is an invoice that will be sent on a weekly or monthly basis to that client. Actually, let's do that right now. So we want the recurring invoice, which is very similar to a normal invoice. It just will be sent more frequently. So let's go here, click on try it. And as a first step, we have to connect our Harbour account to Zapier. And as a second step, our InvoiceBerry account. So let's click here and connect Harbour. All right, so in case of Harbour, we need the account API key. Let's look for it. Okay, so we need to go to the /integrations page. Okay, perfect. So I'm here on my integrations page. I think I could just go here, I click here, and I click on settings, and then I click on integration. So you don't have to follow the information on the Zapier screen, but you can actually just go that way. Okay, so we're here now. So now we have to create our API key. It's important. Here's API. We don't have to go here. We don't have to go under webhooks, but we have to go all the way down. And here we want to create under Zapier, we want to create our API key. So let's click on create new Zapier key. And we need to take the account key to copy it. And now here we want to enter that key and click on yes, continue. Perfect. Let's click on continue. And as the trigger, we need the connection key now. So let's go back to Harbour. And here under account key, we see the connection key. We click on copy and we go back to Zapier. We paste it here and we want to send it right away. Click on continue. And now we have a test trigger. Let's click on it. It should load the data for my previous test. If you have never created any documents, you might have to create a document, or in this case, as you can see here, it just loaded some sample data. So that's also great. Let's click on continue. And now we have to connect our InvoiceBerry account. I've already got my InvoiceBerry account here. If you haven't connected your InvoiceBerry account yet, just go to InvoiceBerry, to settings, main settings and integrations. And then here, you just have to click on the request API key. Once you've got your API key, just copy the key and the password, and that's it. Let's go back here, continue, and now we want to create our recurring invoice profile. Since we don't want to use an existing client, we won't select a client ID because these are all existing clients. but we will set up a new client by filling out the client data field. The client name, let's see what sort of information we get from Harbour. So we get the full name of the client. Oh, we also have here the company name. So let's take the company name we receive. So we can leave empty. It will just take the default values of your InvoiceBerry account, and the client email is important again. So let's have a look at the client email. So that's the client email. Now we can also select the client first name and last name, the address, any details you get from Harbour you can enter here if you wish to do so. The city, for example. Here, for example, we see the city, San Francisco, and so on. The currency always has to be selected. We don't get that from Harbour, but you know what sort of currency you want to invoice in. So in my case, I just select the US dollars and the start date of that recurring invoice profile. So I want to have that today, so I just type today, or you can select a day in the future or the day when this agreement was completed. In this case, it's very important. Recurring invoices in InvoiceBerry can only be set up in the future. You can't select a date yesterday or a previous date. Then you have to select the end date. If you don't select anything, it just will automatically keep on invoicing, or you can give an end date, for example, in 1 year time. The frequency, this is required. Do you want to send the invoice weekly, every 2 weeks, every 4 weeks, monthly? Let's say we do a monthly invoice. And then here you can say they have 7 days to pay. And then what is the invoice about? For example, this is a monthly retainer fee. And the unit cost is $500 and the quantity is 1. Now, if you want to add more than one item line, you can just separate it by comma or by any other sign, and then you have to select here how you separated it. So for example, here you would enter the comma or a semicolon, and then up here you would separate it with that sign, so by comma or semicolon. Now, do you want to automatically send the invoice? Yes or no? In my case, no, I don't want to send it automatically. I want to actually look at it and then send it via InvoiceBerry. But you could also automatically send the invoice. Okay, so these are all the fields I filled out. These ones I haven't filled out. And now I click on test action. The great thing with InvoiceBerry is if the client already exists, it will use the existing client and just create a new invoice profile. If it doesn't exist, it will create the client and the invoice profile all in one. So let's have a look here. Let's go to invoices and let's go to recurring invoices. As you can see here, we've got the new invoice profile set up. Actually, let's go one step back. Let's check clients. And here we see that we set up a new client. So that's the first step of the automation. Secondly, when you go to recurring invoices, you can see that we have a new profile. It starts today, it's monthly, it goes forever. We don't automatically send it, and no invoice has been created yet. So this might take a minute or two. Let's just check the profile, we edit it, and here we see that we want it monthly. There's no end date, and this is a monthly retainer fee of $500. And let's go back and have a look if the invoice has been created. Yes, the last invoice has been created today. Let's go to invoices, and yes. So you can see here, this is my invoice number 33. It used the recurring profile, and next month, the next invoice will be created for that client. You can now just click on email invoice and email out that invoice, or you could have set up to automatically send out the invoice so you don't have to do anything at all. And lastly, we just have to go back to Zapier and we have to make sure to click on the publish button So this automation will go live. So whenever someone signs a document in Harbour, it will automatically create that recurring invoice profile in InvoiceBerry and then create a monthly invoice. Thanks a lot for listening. If you've got any questions whatsoever, please leave them in the comments below. Happy invoicing and bye bye.